Hello, 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 and welcome to the Global Footballer Podcast. I'm Deepak, and with me I have Arafat today. Arafat, welcome to the podcast on your second
Hi,
episode.
hi Deepak. Thank you for having me once again.
Clearly, people will realize this is an upgrade from Monish, who is on a journey to Georgia, as I see it. He's globe-trotting in true Global Footballer Podcast style. But I'm not sure whether he's catching up on any football, but we do wish him a nice time in Georgia. But just
Absolutely.
moving on
And
to
I have subbed
yeah,
on for Monish for
yeah.
this week.
As I said, it's only an upgrade for sure. So very happy to have you. But we'll get to the games, Arafat. Obviously, the big talking point of the weekend involved both our teams, and it was
Yeah,
Newcastle United getting all 3 points, 1-0 victory against Arsenal.
yep.
I'll let you go first because I'm sure you'll have a lot of thoughts on it. What did you make of the whole thing and the
Uh,
controversies?
yeah, I think we'll start with the game itself first, and then move to keep the controversies for later. Discuss yeah, all that bit maybe later on. But I think the match was good in terms of intensity. Newcastle, as always, they bring a lot of intensity into the game, and I think for large parts. Arsenal matched that level of intensity, although it was scrappy in bits. They matched that physicality in midfield. They were able to string a lot of progressive passes into Newcastle's half, into Newcastle's box. They had a lot of balls into the box as well. But ultimately, what led them down, irrespective of all the decisions that went against them, were the lack of a good final ball or lack of a good shot on target. In fact, I think at one point of time, if I'm not mistaken, in the beginning of the second half, before Newcastle scored, Arsenal had more touches in Newcastle's box than Newcastle had, or I think had one touch in Arsenal's box. So, in terms of that, I think Arsenal were very, very good and impressive, and it was a good defensive performance by both teams. I mean, Newcastle barely allowed Saka in the game. Maybe allowed a little bit of Martinelli. He had maybe one shot on target, but they completely isolated and cut them off. And in that mid or low block, especially after they scored, obviously, but even before that. And same thing with Arsenal. We pretty much negated a lot of Newcastle's attack. And yeah, I don't think Newcastle had till the goal, till had too many shots on target. Maybe one shot till then. I can't really remember, but
Yeah,
that just goes to show that both teams did defensively very very well. But
exactly.
yeah,
I
the
think that was
goal.
the most important part. The defenses were key for both teams. I think the defenses clearly came out on top. The defenses held their
Yeah,
sort of nerve throughout the whole match, and I think Arsenal came to this match with the sort of mentality that Newcastle went to Arsenal last year. We came to Emirates last year sort of with a physical mentality and trying to bully you into
yeah,
getting some points, and we got a point back. And I think Arsenal came to Newcastle with the same sort of mentality, to match the physical intensity,
yep,
as you said, and trying to make it a physical game and to match it on that and get some points back.
yeah,
And I don't think it was a bad tactic at all. And you matched us for most of the game.
yeah,
But yeah, and we come to the goal eventually.
yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
The goal itself, I think, first of all, Ben White should have played to the whistle. He did not. He should have closed down Joe Willock much
Willock,
earlier.
yeah,
And you can see Jorginho in between asking Ben White just push on, push on ahead. But
yeah, close him
we
down.
failed to do that. Uh, And then it was just a series of VAR checks and VAR, in my opinion, and I think on balance, more people said it's not a goal than said it is a
I
goal.
doubt it.
So yeah,
I
more
think it's a
people
clear
did.
divide, 50-50.
No, I doubt, not fans, but I'm talking about pundits who have said that it's probably not a goal. Yeah. So the ball going out, it was difficult to prove whether it was in or whether it was out. But surely, if they do not have any top angle, like they had in the World Cup incident involving Japan, where they did have a top angle that showed, the it hadn't completely crossed over line. And in fact, some of the playback VAR transcript said one of the referees or one of the VAR referees were saying the ball looks out, but we can't be sure. So yeah, it was a very sticky point. Anyways, I'm okay
But I
with the
think
ball
in this
going
whole
out.
thing, what we need to do, what we need to realize is what was the on-field decision. Looking at all this, so the on-field
Yeah,
decision was a goal, and VAR's onus then on is to
yeah,
take the evidence and then overrule that on-field decision. So as you said,
yeah.
the ball going out, there was no clear evidence that was going out, so they couldn't overrule that on-field decision that it was in with that sort of evidence that they had.
Yeah, but my point is when you have one angle that shows it's out, I think it would just make sense to go with that rather than have a gut feeling that oh, okay, I don't think this is out. I mean, it looks out, but I don't think it is out. So how far should a ball be away from the line for a gut feeling to say that it is in or out? If for any VAR
So
referees
I
looking
guess,
at it.
yeah, I guess that it is clear. So obviously, if there's clear daylight in between in all angles, then clearly it's out, and you can say that. But when it's
Yeah,
so
but if
close
you
to the
have
line,
just one
it's
angle to view, I
yeah,
think the
exactly.
one
So
with
if
the
there's one angle to view, and it's an optical illusion, and
Rashford
has been
or
proved so many times over and over again that
Manchester United's goal against Brighton was
yeah,
also was given on field,
overruled.
but then overruled by VAR. So there is a
Yeah.
precedent for overruling.
But I think that in that case, everybody thinks to brings that case in. But in that case, if you look at it, the ball was clearly a lot more out, and there was better camera angles for that than compared to this. The camera angle was literally on top, looking down the line for that. This was a camera angle somewhere
But
across the pitch, looking at Willock from the back, and again from this side of the pitch, looking at Willock
yeah,
from
but
an
even
angle.
then, in that, there was no like a top angle to really convince
No,
anybody
there
that
is
it
no
was.
top angle.
And
So
that's
I
exactly my
guess
point. So if
so.
there is precedent for that, then either they should stick with overruling everything or stick with on-field decision when you don't
So
have.
we everybody keeps saying VAR should not re-referee the match.
Yeah,
VAR's thing is not to look at every decision and try to find fine lines in which they
yeah,
can re-referee the whole thing. And
absolutely. Yeah,
as far as they completely go with an on-field decision in circumstances where they do not have enough data to overrule it, I'm absolutely fine with it. And sitting here, I can tell you today that Newcastle will have this come back to bite us at some point in the season. VAR is not discriminatory, probably except Manchester City. For most other teams, VAR has been a problem at some
yeah,
time or the other. Last year, we suffered a lot at the hands of VAR, but
yeah.
predominantly what I don't want VAR to do is re-referee every match. And if there is not enough
Even
data
yeah,
or not
no,
enough
even
evidence,
I
don't overrule it.
agree that, but I think there's no consistency with the re-refereeing thing.
Oh, the VAR never been known
There's
for consistency. So
Yeah, I think just last week, United versus City in such a soft
Yeah, that penalty
penalty
that
was
we
given
talked
to,
about, that
yeah,
was
that we
a
spoke
non-penalty
about.
penalty, which yeah,
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, okay, leave that aside. There was no conclusive evidence with the ball going out. Even the offside thing, pretty much, same
yeah, there's no
situation. No
angle for it,
angles,
so
no
you can't
angles,
really call it.
no, and okay, on-field decision stays. It was a very touch and go, anyways. But that foul on Gabriel, I think, was just was very blatant. He had two hands out on the neck of Gabriel as Gabriel stooped to take the header. There was no way Gabriel could extend or go back on that. It looked like a very, very clear foul. And you have, you know, precedents of so many fouls being called on corners and when the forward or even the other way around, when a defender just slightly pushes and forward and it's called foul. Or so yeah,
But I think
that
that one
of
decision, I
the
agree with you.
three
It
of
was a toss of a
four,
coin.
yeah, of the four, even the possible handball, the handball thing is a bit sketchy. I don't know
I think
if the person scoring the goal, I mean, if the handball, if it touches the arm of the person scoring the goal, it's definitely handball. Or in this instance, somebody who assisted
that's a very valid point.
again.
Actually, the rule has been changed this year, so that if it's
Yeah,
an unintentional handball for the person
by
assisting or anybody other than the goal scorer, it
goal
doesn't get ruled
scorer,
out.
it doesn't. So even
So
that is
even if it
fine.
was
So
handball,
of the four infringements in that goal, the only one that really sticks out is the push on Gabriel. And
but
we are
again,
looked at
I
it
think
and
the
said that
push.
he has two hands on two extended hands, but it doesn't look like a push. I mean, then what else could it be
But
other than,
yeah, so I'll argue the other point, which is most
yeah.
people who think it's not a foul, a la the big guns in Sky Sports, Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher,
Oh,
who are all defenders in their own right,
well,
and
yeah.
even likes of Michael and everybody else who think that it's not a foul. There is a clear subjective element to this, and the reason I'm saying it's a clear subjective element is I watched this match with an Arsenal fan of mine, a friend of mine, and we were going through that process in which they were going through here and wondering whether it's going to be given a goal or not. And I was getting agitated about what was happening. And then he said, oh, after they moved on from the line check, when we went to the foul check, he's like, oh, no, that's clearly not a foul. They're not giving that, definitely. And then we moved on to the offside,
But
and the
but
offside, there
why?
was no line. So
I mean,
uh, an Arsenal fan watching it in that moment said it wasn't a foul, and this is the problem.
but
So
if you
I
ask
agree with you. It
majority
was a
Arsenal
coin.
fans, they would say it was a
I
foul.
agree. So, Arthur, as I said, if I was in your situation, I would have probably been screaming foul from the rooftops. And
Y-
that's where it is. It's a very subjective line
Yes.
down where it is a foul or not. And I personally do think Gabriel was trying to scoop it away as a heading it away from goal or heading it back to where
Yeah.
it came from,
Heading
because
it
he
up
saw that,
above. Yeah.
yeah, up and
Yeah.
above, or heading it back to
Yeah.
in Raya's direction, away from Joelinton, basically.
Yeah.
um I think that's
And
what he was
and
trying
I
to do.
think
And
Joe Linton's stretched hands on the back did not allow him to,
I
make that
don't think
movement
that
up.
was I. So Gabriel clearly got
And
caught under the ball, and he realized he has a guy next to him. And football is a physical game, so all he could do was just try and play for the foul, and he went just literally scooped down. I think Gabriel as a central defender, between your central defenders, there is such a class difference between Saliba, who is probably, in my opinion, going to be the best central
yeah,
defender in the
that
world at
no
some
doubt
point in
about that. I
time.
think most Arsenal fans
But
will
Gabriel was weak. That's it. Gabriel was just blatantly weak. And he didn't read it.
maybe
He
he
didn't expect
was
Raya to
looking
miss it.
for a foul. Maybe he was looking for a foul, but then he had reason because there were two hands on the back of his neck, and he knew that, he probably knew that that's going to be called a foul because, you have a forward right behind you, two outstretched hand. It's not even, one arm above, just kind of shrugging him away. If it was something like that, one arm kind of shoulder
But
nudge away.
let me to ask you, when was the last time you saw a footballer jumping? If they are both jumping for an aerial ball coming in, when do you see footballers jumping with their hands by the side? They usually lean on each other to jump. Every footballer does this for
Leaning on.
any
Yeah,
high
the
ball
the
coming in.
key yeah, the
They
key is maybe leaning on. Leaning on would have been absolutely fine. Here he was not using
so he was
Gabriel. He was not
so
using Gabriel.
Jolinton went for that. Jolinton went for that header, and Gabriel just crumbled in front of him. Where are his
He
hands
he
supposed to go?
did
He'll
this
follow him just naturally.
as in he had his arms
So
extended on the neck and then went forward towards the ball. So he was not
possibly.
leaning for this thing. So yeah, I mean you can say
Yeah,
subjective, but then
it's
all fouls are subjective. If you ask fans
yeah.
of either any side, they would say it is subjective.
But that's
But
what.
I
So
think
if you come
that
back to the original decision, and the referee on the pitch who had a really good view of it gave the goal, and the assistant referee
yeah
who also had a decent view of it gave the
yeah
goal. And VAR did not think that it was subjective enough for it to be re-refereed.
yeah
I think it's fine. I think these calls, and my problem then boils down to what happened after that. It's it's fine. I can understand actually Arteta's post-match press conference where he called it a disgrace. He went on against it. Lots of
yeah
different managers have done this.
yeah
Um, Arsene Wenger has done this. Alex Ferguson was famous for it. Rafa Benitez has done this, and the person who
yeah
made it an art was Jose Mourinho, who would take
of
attention
course
from his
yeah
team not really playing very well and then turn it against the referees and us versus them
yeah
mentality, and it's really good. It has worked. It has worked for all these managers to win titles, and I'm happy that Arteta did that. It would have got him favor with Arsenal fans. It was the right thing to do. It turned it around. But then to put a statement out for a decision
I
like
think
that
the
was just
statement out was more of, the club trying to make sure that the manager is not completely isolated on this
but the
instant. Because
manager is not
if you
isolated.
see
Clearly, all the fans are
Arte,
with him.
yeah, fans is different, but I think the other thing is this has been on the back of so many decisions which have gone or which they feel probably, were like blatantly against them. I'm sure all clubs feel that there is no,
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
no reason to be selective or anything. But Arteta never does that. He never goes on a rant. Uh, Even after the City game, of course, we won that, so there was no this thing. But even in the Chelsea game, he felt that maybe the handball was probably not handball. Jesus should have had a penalty. But even then, that was very subjective. Could have gone either way. He didn't really say anything about the referees. This one seemed like, in
But
one
if
phase of play or
in
one instant, there were like so many decisions that, could have ruled that goal out
Harvard should have
of.
been sent off then, if that was the
That that
case.
that no that I completely disagree. It was an extremely reckless challenge. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh my God, this guy is doing a
If the only reason
jaka."
Longstaff did not have his leg broken was he didn't make good enough contact. Havertz even missed that tackle.
He
Just
he
because
didn't go for the
Havertz misses
tackle.
most
I
things
think
he did, that's the only reason that
no, I
Longstaff
think
has his legs in him.
he went ahead to stop the shot from going off, but he just went in a extremely reckless manner. It was his trailing leg
That's the
that
definition
caught.
of red card.
No,
Reckless
it's not a
tackle.
dangerous, not a
Uh,
dangerous tackle. Or it was reckless, but not dangerous. Or it didn't.
I mean,
It
the only
wasn't.
reason it was not dangerous was because it didn't catch Longstaff hard enough. If he had gone to Longstaff's leg hard enough, he would have been
Yeah,
red any day, all day.
if he had if he had mistimed, we see that all the time. We see mistimed
But
tackles all the time.
you talk. Yeah, you said about pros
Yeah.
talking about that tackle on Joelinton. And every single pro playing has said that that was a pure red card any day of the week. Even
Which
John
one?
Walters, who
Which one?
that tackle from Havertz, and even John Walters, who said it wasn't a red card initially, then put out a correction saying, "Sorry, I saw the tackle again, and that is a red clear
I
as
think
red."
many people also said it is maybe amber or yellow or yeah.
That's what. So
And
if you are willing to make concessions for that, then Arsenal have to get it in their head that they need to make concessions for that tackle or not foul or non-foul that they are so getting so worked up about. Because clearly the ball going out and the offside are not issues. It's that foul that everybody's concerned about. And
yeah,
if you are making concessions for Havertz, you clearly have to make concessions for that and
no,
realize
I
it's
mean,
it's a game that goes both ways.
yeah, see, if you're talking about making a tackle, lunging tackle without catching a person, even Bruno Guimaraes did that.
Yeah, I agree. Bruno should have
Seconds
gotten red.
before
I
he
completely
sh
agree. Bruno should
seconds
have gotten
before
red.
seconds before he did that forearm, he went two-footed tackle. He was just far away from the player, but
Yeah,
that does not
uh,
count as
people can
red.
slide around as long as there's nobody around. If you slide
Yeah.
around in the most dangerous fashion, nobody's going to get your red card.
No,
It's
this
going
was
to be against a player, and if you
yeah.
make contact or not, that
If you make
matters.
contact, so again, that's the key. If you make contact, here
So
his
Havertz did make contact. It wasn't
with the
hard
trailing
enough to
leg.
break Longstaff's
No,
leg. That's all. No,
with
no,
the
oh, that was the mistake most people made. It wasn't with the trailing leg. He made contact with his leading leg,
no
which
with
was the
with the
reason.
leading leg. I think he just went in front of the this thing. It was millimeters. Had he touched even
No,
properly, had he touched
he
even the shin pad, he would have been off. He would have been off, and
okay.
he deserved to be off for
And
that.
I will send you a video which proves that he actually made contact with his leading leg.
That's a video
But
from behind the this thing.
no,
I think
no.
Sky showed a video from a side-on angle where it showed
Mm,
that he was clearly going to block the ball and not looking at tackling his feet. Because if he had tackled his feet, that's it. He would have been off. The speed with which
yeah.
he went, and one reason why his trailing leg caught him full on was because the leading leg was away or was ahead of that and ahead of long stuff. So you know, I think that was a very well deserved yellow, but Guimaraes not getting red was just really silly. That was the other thing.
But that's what. So you're willing
Even
to
the
make concessions for Harvard's tackle, which most professional footballers, even today's podcast with Ben Foster and Mark Goldbridge, who has been totally against this war, and lots of other people have said that was as red as anybody's tackle ever. But I'm
I
fine.
mean
I'm happy with you having a subjective
it's
notion for that.
it.
But
I
if you're
think two
making
are very
concessions for
difficult, very
Havertz,
different.
then you need to make a
No, no,
concession
no.
for
I think two
Joelinton
are
and
very,
Gabriel.
very different because you saw Destiny Udogi's tackle yesterday on Sterling.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think Howard's tackle was, in a sense, similar to that. A
Mm.
reckless one, didn't catch the leg, and maybe that's why he was given yellow. Bruno Guimaraes had absolutely no reason. It was almost like an assault where he went with his arm straight at the back. There was no ball, no challenge, no nothing. He went for that. That was proper violent conduct. I think we have to agree on that. Tackling for
Uh,
foul,
That's what
reckless.
even when we talked about this, I completely agreed 5 minutes back that that was a red. I don't think I'm disputing that at all. What I'm
Yeah,
saying is it's the Joelinton Saliba thing. You're making concessions for Havertz that it was red or not red, and you're relying on subjective notions for that. But then you have to also remember the goal has subjective notions to it, and you're
yeah.
relying on
That
somebody
I've
to pick
already
a
considered.
foul or not foul. Yeah,
No,
and
but
that's why it was given a
no,
goal, and it
no.
it
The
wasn't
one other
a
thing
major
is
insult against Arsenal or anything
no,
like
no,
that.
no. One moment. Sometimes I, we have, even against us last season against Manchester United, uh, in a build-up to a goal, there was a small foul by Odegaard on, I think it was Bruno Fernandes or something, because of which that goal was chalked off. So I think, we have to look at those circumstances as well, because Joe Linton's actions directly led to the goal. So, maybe it could have
Yeah,
been
but
chalked
again,
off.
it
But
was a subjective
again, it was
decision.
subjective, which is fine. And in that case, we are overruled on-field decision.
No,
Whereas in
but
this
that's what
case,
you'll get so many
I know
decisions which
you will
have
get,
been
yeah,
overruled,
yeah,
and
that
even
ultimately, yeah,
I think I don't know whether you agree. My basic principle is it shouldn't re-referee matches unless there is clear and obvious error. And
that
I
principle
don't think there was
is
enough.
always very good when you're on the, what do you say, positive
Exactly. No,
reference. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
As I said initially, this will come back to bite me at some point in the season. But the basic principle holds that with VAR, when it was brought
yeah.
in,
I
the
think,
obvious idea
yeah,
that everybody had in our heads was, oh, this is some great thing that's going to come in and
yeah.
get I mean, right the wrong calls, but not interfere in much else.
No, no,
But
I totally agree. I think if
it's
there has to be bottom line, it'll be like, some will go your way, some will not go your way, and you
Yeah,
just
because
have to live with it.
let's imagine a situation where VAR was not a thing at all, and this game was played in a situation where there was
Yeah,
no VAR.
yeah.
This goal would have
Pe
gone in. It would have been a
I think
goal.
people would
People would have been
be,
like,
yeah,
"Ooh,
no,
perhaps Newcastle
no,
got away with that one." But that's
no,
it. It wouldn't
people would
have
be
been.
clamoring for VAR then. Oh,
Uh,
definitely.
Perhaps, but I don't think what happened was the 4 minutes of checks that VAR did, highlighting
Yeah,
every single thing that went up and down, obviously
yeah,
puts it into people's conscience a lot more. And
yeah,
people would have been, I don't dispute, people would have said Newcastle perhaps got lucky with that goal, or perhaps it could have been allowed. Surely that will happen for most goals scored on the planet. But
yeah,
that would have been it. People would have gotten up around with it. And
yeah.
VAR now is in a position where I don't know. I've been a big proponent for VAR, but I do think it
No, I
ruins
think
the
on
feel for
balance,
fans.
no, I think on balance, VAR gets a lot right, and the focus
Yeah,
is
probably
always
does
on the things that goes wrong,
go
which
wrong.
is
Yeah,
which was
true.
pretty much very true when DRS in cricket also began.
Went
But I
in.
think,
Yeah,
but with cricket, I think DRS got a lot of processes in place. There
yeah,
was a lot of the subjectivity was kind of ironed out, and that is needed with VAR. And
yeah,
like I said, uh, English Premier League with all the money they have, not having two angles to show if a ball is out of basically a very fixed rectangular space is a bit silly, really, or not having enough angles to show what a point of contact for an offside is. Not particularly in this goal, but generally, and failing to draw lines and things like that. So
I think the offside for sure
ultimately,
next season has to be made a semi-automated offside for
exactly,
minimum.
there is no doubt,
Um,
no doubt
that I don't think the Premier League can have any justification for not doing it
for
anymore.
not doing
And it's
that.
so much more faster. It's like 10
Yeah,
times faster than people actually sitting down and drawing lines and
drawing lines
just
and
tumbling the game.
with that Liverpool Tottenham itself, we can see there are
Yeah,
so many
somebody
people
forgetting to draw
involved.
lines actually.
Yeah, and so many people involved in that process, operator and VAR assistant referee, VAR referee, and the referee, all of
Yeah,
them just talking over each other, and it was a total mess. So that is the only
yeah.
thing. But
Hopefully, let's hope that VAR
yeah,
gets a bit more things right. I've been a big fan of it when it came in, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure because I think what it ruins now for me is whether I celebrate a goal or not. When the
I
ball
know.
goes in, I'm
Yeah.
always
Uh,
worried. Does VAR
the
bring
other
it
thing
back?
is, I think when we watch a match in the stands, you have
Yeah,
absolutely no idea what is
no
going
idea.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, yeah, it doesn't work that way in cricket or in what I've heard. Even in rugby, fans in the stadiums can hear whatever is going on
Is
behind
being
the
talked about.
scenes. And I think this VAR kind of like plays to the idea that plays to broadcast TV rather than fans in the stadium
Actual fans
because
in the ground. Yeah.
yeah,
And
in the
also
stadium
when your team
you have
scores,
zero idea. Yeah,
you celebrate with the fans, don't you?
yeah,
And then
exactly.
you turn around
Yeah,
and realize, oh, there's actually a check going.
yeah. There's a
What is the
VAR
check
check,
for? Nobody knows.
and then it
Yeah, like
ruins the whole thing. Yeah.
and the
So
announcement is always 2 minutes later. After the
yeah,
check happens, like for 1.5 minutes, everybody sits there not knowing what's happening, and then the announcer comes on.
yeah.
VAR check for
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
And then
Many times even
okay,
I've not even heard that announcement in the stadium. All
yeah,
all we look at is the screen, big screen, whether it
screen,
shows,
yeah.
yeah, it shows, oh, VAR checking possible offside or possible foul, and you're like, oh my God, oh come on, we can't deal with it. But yeah, anyways, that is VAR, and it's got lots to improve.
All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. That was our take on Arsenal's game at Newcastle United. That's as heated as it'll get between us. Thank you, Arafat, for
Absolutely.
joining.
Till the next
And
round.
yeah, like, share, and subscribe, everybody. See you next time.